3, 2, 1.
Hi, it's Will with TableTopGenerals, and tonight we have a special guest. This is Vince Guzman from Pinche Games, based in San Antonio, Texas. Vince is actually a friend of ours. We met at Geekdom, which is the tech collaborative here in San Antonio. And Vince and his wife are game designers, and he is going to talk about some of the games that Pinche Games has come up with tonight and show us a new project that you guys are working on too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So without further ado, here's Vince from Pinche Games.
Okay. Yeah, like you said, I'm Vince from Pinche Games. Yes, Pinche Games. They did a lot of stuff on. JT Street did a story on me, and they had to bleep out Pinche Games on the broadcast. So I was kind of disappointed at that, but. We could maybe talk about that later.
So the video may or may not be suitable for work, depending on what part of the country you work in, maybe.
Yeah, Pinche Games is not really that bad of a word. It's been taken on to mean worse things than it actually is. As worst as you really should get with it is like, it means damn.
Okay, well I think we're okay.
Yeah. So in fact, a lot of people ask me, well, why'd you come up with Pinche Games? It's kind of like a little bit derogatory and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but when I was a kid, my mom would always tell us, get off your Pinche Games. So I was like, yeah, Pinche Games, that works for us.
Rolls right off the tongue. Well, what do you got for us tonight? Why don't you tell us about Apt?
Apt, yes. This is our first actual mass-produced card game. We just got this out this year, and it's been selling really, really well. People have really been liking it. What it is, it's app, and you see a little brain here. It's a game where you install apps directly into your brain. So you'll be installing stuff that, like GPS and stuff like that, directly into your brain, and then the object is to get to 100%. Of filling 1 terabyte of space allocated in your brain for that. And the first one to do that wins, but you got to do it exactly. If you go over, your brain gets fried.
Okay, well,
so
so it's not like a collectible card game where so you just buy the one.
You just buy the one game,
and you're good to go.
And you're good to go. Yeah.
You were telling me a little bit about it earlier, and seems like a really good game that you could do while you're waiting to start a game session, or while you're waiting with some friends, or I mean, you can certainly just get together and play it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that down at Geekdom we're playing, what is it, Cards Against Humanity?
Yeah.
I can't remember who we're playing with, but you know, we're sitting around and we're playing that because some of our test players weren't showing up,
mm-hmm.
and somebody walked by with it, and then your wife was telling me this is perfect for those situations. It's also pretty easy to learn. So there's not
very easy,
a steep learning curve, which is good. And she was telling me that, you know, it's even like a party game,
mm-hmm.
or really, so you don't have to be a role player to play it. You guys...
No, not at all.
Anybody can play it.
Anybody can play it. I got a really good compliment from a distributor back when I was at Gen Con this year. And he took a look at it, and he said, yeah, this looks like a game that non-gamers would like. So I was like, that's kind of a compliment. Yeah, so
there's a broader audience
than
my niche. Well, tell us a little bit more about it. Okay, so the brain has a terabyte of space available for apps to be installed.
That and a lot of people get this. You install certain apps, and they're expanded. Once
mm-hmm.
they hit your brain, they expand. So that's what actually, what you may not think may fill up 10% of that terabyte. Once it actually finally gets in, it expands and fills in that space in there. So that's how we explain it.
Okay.
But we have, let me show you some of these cards here. Like, we'll have, like, you know, a 2.5%. We'll have, like, a 10%. Now, a lot of them, if you read them, like this one's awareness. This one reads a navigation system for gamers where you roll virtual dice to see if you can get directions to find out where you are. So we've thrown in a lot of comedy into these if you read them, and that's what a lot of people have been. You have like a 5% there. So you also have like expansions. So you have apps, and then you can let's say put an expansion on that. Like this is a yeah, that's a deluxe edition, and that actually doubles whatever app you installed it on.
And so you could get an app that says, you know, it's 15%,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can play.
Well, there's no 15% in the deck.
Oh, okay.
There's no 15%. It goes from 2.5, 5%, 7.5%, and 10%. And there's actually one 25% card in the deck.
Okay, so you get lucky and you get that 25% card,
Mhm.
and then you get the expansion which doubles it. So
Mhm.
you're at 50% already. So you're halfway there.
Oh yeah,
Theoretically.
theoretically.
Well,
Theoretically, once you put that out there, there's other cards out there that are called hacker cards, and those will actually allow people to steal those from you.
Okay, and
So-
there's also viruses too. aren't
There's
there?
also viruses, and there's actually hardware that you can install as well that'll help you out there along the way.
So it's a turn system.
Yes.
At least 2 players.
At least 2 players, up to 4.
Good. And
you can play to 5. We've played to 5, but you like cycle through the deck so much. You can actually combine decks, and the only change on that is that you can install the same app twice if you combine.
Oh,
2
so
decks.
you can't have So
Yeah.
one player can't have.
So you can't
double
have 2
apps.
college bounds on your on your installed area.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it makes perfect sense. It's
Yeah.
just like a computer. You don't install the same program
Right.
2 times unless you
Well, at least not now. We
Yeah.
used to be able to do that before.
just put it in a different directory. Okay, so that's apt. That's the Pinche Games existing up for sale. One of your up for sale games right now.
Yes.
Real briefly, why don't you tell us about some of the other games that you already have out, and then why don't we talk about what's in progress?
Yeah, definitely. Our flagship, our main one, was the organization, and the organization is it's an espionage, low-tech espionage with high cinematic action, and that's what made Pinche Games come into being. That we actually developed, a friend and I developed that in high school, and we developed the system, went through, played it, years and years of playing, and then finally we kind of like lost touch with each other, and we reconnected, and we decided to go to ChimeraCon, and it was like, well, you know, why don't we revisit
Bring it back.
the game. So we got it out there, and people started liking it. I was just like, well, maybe people will buy it.
Now this is it a pen and paper role playing game?
This is a pen and paper role playing game.
Okay, so do you use predominantly a D20,
It's
D6,
a three.
D10?
It's a 3d6 roll under system.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So everybody's
All
gonna
right.
be real familiar with that.
Yeah. So that's the organization.
This is the organization.
Now you're telling me about the. What else were you telling me about a little bit?
We have a. We call it Pinches, which is another play on our name, and Pinches is a game of chess, a randomized strategy chess game with dice, where the pieces are not like a pawn or a king or a queen; they're actually dice. So whatever you roll is the amount of spaces that you go. And then we've also incorporated tokens that you use that you can go over, that are flipped over. When you flip them over, that you don't know if they're either a plus or a minus to attack or a movement. So that's one of the things we've done a do-it-yourself version on those, but we have a few that are left, but those have done pretty well as well.
All right.
But we're looking to make some of those games, remake them, and make them to where they're more marketable.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Now the moment I know you've been waiting for.
Yes.
You currently, as of what's today? October 4th, 2013. Currently are running a Kickstarter for this next one. What is that Kickstarter?
Yes, and we have 18 days left. So be sure to check that out. That's Roaches, and this is our beat up, well, super used prototype. So done up through the Game Crafter. But it's gonna change from this. So, but what this is, it was originally designed as a game for kids like 4 or 5, to actually introduce to have RPG parents introduce their kids into role playing.
Yeah, I'm going to be running into that in 2 or 3 or 4 years when my little daughter starts talking and wondering what Derek and I are doing. You know, every Tuesday,
nice.
Thursday night with all these dice instead of trying to beat them.
Now you have like separate factions in there. Like you have your soldier. That's your soldier faction. You have your spy. That's your little spy faction. So you have like 12 of each of these that you play, and what you're trying to do, all these roaches are in a house, and they're trying to take over the house. And they go through every day, and they hit like everyday dangers. Like you go into the restroom and you hit, oh yeah, mom's there with a chancla or something, and she's going after you.
That's a flip flop for those of you that don't live in the Southwest.
So that's another thing that we've done in our games. We've tried to make them to where they have a little Hispanic or Mexican flair.
No, that's totally cool.
And that's something I haven't seen a lot in games, but I really like to see it. You have your cowboys too. And for the beginning games, these have like 3 different versions that you can play. There's like a beginning, intermediate, and advanced. Which the advanced is a lot different than the intermediate and beginning. It's a completely different setup. So you'll roll. There's your ninja, and then you actually have, of course, you have to have it, is the luchador, purple luchador.
And he's got the mask and everything.
And all the colors are corresponding to the dice that we have. If we have like the yellow cowboy, he has the yellow die. We have the red ninja, and he has a red die.
So your player picks a faction, and he gets the appropriate die.
Right.
And then, let's just for the basic rules, then you do the rooms, right?
Then you do the rooms. What you do is you have a white die that goes along with that, which the game master is going to have. Or a player can also be the game master as well. And they'll go ahead and roll that white die. And let's say, okay, that's number 4. So you pick out your number 4, and they're all numbered. And number 4 is the living room. So let's go ahead and put that living room out. And we'll go ahead and roll again. And you get number 2. You take a look at your everyday dangers, and you look at your number 2. And the number 2 is the fly swatter. Roach and a fly swatter. It's really used for some reason, especially here in South Texas.
Well, yeah, our roaches carry handguns around here. They're big enough, so.
So once you get that, then the GM will say, okay, we have these here. You have to go into the living room, and then you have to battle a fly swatter. So you get your die, roll it again. Okay, now you have to either meet or beat a 4, or just roll a 4 for the fly swatter. So in order to beat the fly swatter, the players will come in. They'll get 2 roaches of each faction. Let's go ahead and get a ninja and a soldier. Put them in, and they'll roll against it with each of their die. So on. Once they beat it, they'll either that's alive, and then that's on poor ninja. He's dead. Sorry, ninja. And once they get through, if they happen to get through and beat the fly swatter, then the fly swatter goes away. And that doesn't come back. Now the roaches that are left have to battle for the actual room.
So you're not just fighting the GM or the house.
Right.
You are also
fighting
player
each other.
versus player.
Right.
For dominance, for ultimate control
Exactly.
of the house. So on Kickstarter right now, let's say somebody wants to back it. What rewards are you offering?
Well, right now we'll have. If you do, I think we still have the early bird special out there. That's $15 gets you the game.
Okay.
After that, after the early bird is finished, you have the $20, which will get you the game as well. We'll have different ones where you have either we'll give you some random Pinche Games dice that we have our special dice with our logo on them. Either that one or the organization logo that we have on there as well. There's another one where you have you'll have a dice bag along with the dice, and it'll have the Pinche Games logo on there as well.
Their logo is actually pretty cool too. It's blazoned on his shirt here. It's a skull wearing a sombrero.
Yes.
And it says Viva Vatos Malos on it. You can babble fish that if you're not from the Southwest. We'll put the link to the Kickstarter.
Yes.
Down here, and we'll put the link to Pinche Games down here. And in the very near future, some of Pinche Games merchandise is going to start showing up on the Tabletop Generals website, which is www.thetabletopgenerals.com. What's the Pinche Games website?
www.pinchegames.com.
And that's PINCHE games.com. Well, Vince, I really want to thank you for stopping by. You are the first game designer that's ever graced our offices, and we really appreciate it. And we are looking forward to seeing what else Pinche Games comes out with in the future.
Sounds good. There's a lot of things that we have planned right now. A lot of things that we have planned.
All right.
So we'll be quite busy.
Great. Well, we can't wait to see it. This is Will with Tabletop Generals. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming.